Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Chris Legaspi. I'm a professional artist, author, and anime instructor. Today we have a special interview today. Today I wanted to introduce Natasza Zurek, and she's been one of my mentees for a few years. And today I wanted to uh, talk a little bit about her journey and her process to becoming a very wonderful and skilled artist. I can't wait for you to see her incredible results. But enough about me. Let's say hello to Natasza. So, Natasza, thank you for your time today.
Well,
Here,
for me,
okay.
it's evening.
Oh,
I'm
it's
on
evening.
the
That's right.
Pacific coast of Canada,
Okay,
and
perfect.
the day's been busy, but I'm happy to sit here with you and go over like the experience that we've had together.
Yes, thank you for your time. Yeah, and I know you've
Yeah.
been working like crazy, and we're going to see some of your work now. So, Natasha, here's some of your beautiful work, and we'll quickly go through this. Natasha, if you don't mind, could you share a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, where you're from, where you're located, and um, what kind of artist you are?
Right. Okay. Well, my name's Natasha, and I live in the southern interior part of British Columbia, Canada. And I have two children and a partner. We live on some land, quite remote area. And so I'll swing right into saying that's why I do online coaching with you, Chris, because I don't live near any art center and I'm happy to live where I live. It's very pristine and clean and a lot of nature. So a lot of inspiration, but unfortunately not near an art center. So I discovered you through YouTube videos that you were posting a lot of instructional content. And for some reason, I just really resonated with the videos that I found. Perhaps it was the portraiture or the color that you were trying to teach. And that's essentially what I really wanted to learn at that time.
Mm.
And then when I was going into your content, I found it super comprehensive, like very well organized, super clear instruction, getting right to the meat of what I wanted to learn. Like you, I sensed you had a good authority and a grasp of your competence with your drawing skills and your knowledge. So, I mean, I could have picked so many different people, but I ended up picking you, and maybe I didn't even think about it too hard. I just went for it with like inspiration and intuition.
Wow, thank you for that. And I remember when we first met, you had so much clarity at the time. I was very impressed. I was like, oh my goodness, she knows exactly what she wants. And that's always very helpful for me. Thank you
Yeah,
for your
like
story there. Hmm.
I'll just add a few more things. Like before I started to really get into drawing and becoming a mom, I was snowboarding professionally for about 15 years. And I was traveling around the world and competing. And I even went to the Olympics 2 times for snowboarding. So I've got a drive. And when I want something, I really go for it. And I really like get super focused and obsessed. So I knew I could draw because in high school I was basically like the class artist. But
Mm.
during snowboarding, because it was like a full on career, I didn't draw for about 15 years. I just focused on
Mm.
snowboarding. It was like one track mind. But luckily, I got back into drawing and I was worried that I would have lost the talent. But I didn't. But what I did need was a lot of hard work and skill development.
Mm.
So now I've been with you for about 4 years with a year break because year and a half break, I was remodeling our house and art studio.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and it's a beautiful space too, by the way. I
Yeah.
I always get a little bit jealous when I see Natasha's face. Wow, thank you for that story. You mentioned you were drawing a lot in high school. Do you mind sharing where you went to high school? Was it also in Canada?
It was in
I'm just curious.
Vancouver, British
Oh, Vancouver.
Columbia.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think you asked me also about, oh, that I came to you with a lot of, like, with a mission, like, well, you didn't use the
Clarity.
word
Yeah.
mission, but
Mm.
I would have used the word mission. Like, I, something that woke up inside me where I really wanted to embrace art as a my form of media, because meaning almost like to counteract mainstream media, because I don't agree with a lot of stuff being pushed on mainstream media and considered as the norms. So I felt like, well, if each individual picked up whatever medium they were good at, whether it was writing or cooking, even gardening or art, if more of us picked up our medium and shared it with the world, then that would be one less chance for somebody else to go just to the big corporations and to engage on a one-on-one level, like individually, and become inspired, mutually inspired. And essentially, my dream is to create a better world,
Mm.
a world where everyone can thrive and be healthy. So, so that's my mission with art. And I guess I realized that I had maybe even some spiritual messages that I wanted to convey through artwork that aren't very clear, and they're almost like ethereal or like not readily visible on the 3D realm. So I realized that in order to convey anything like that, I'm going to have to become really clear with my drawing
Mm.
and my design and my color. So I decided that I wanted to study, because it's like a language and I wanted to learn the language so I could articulate the art as best as possible, like fluently.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I believe that's one of the reasons why you resonate with me so much is because I'm exactly on the same path as you. And we had talked earlier this year about that. I feel like we almost share the similar life mission because what you described, I would call it as not to sound hyperbolic, but it's almost a war between the ugly and beautiful, between good and evil. And I think what you describe is for me is making the world more beautiful with beautiful artwork. That's uh, that's what I and when you talk about the media, I agree. The media is just one vehicle that kind of pulls the world into this ugly soup of ugly stuff. Buildings, for
Yeah,
example, I
yeah,
can't stand. Most people can't stand modern buildings.
and that's exactly it. Like, um, sometimes I refer to my art mission as a kind of a warriorship, and that it is, like you said, I feel like a battle between ugly and beauty. And I want to bring more beauty into this world, just like you. And just like a warriorship in this battle, in a way, you can get taken out. And like some ways that we as artists could get taken out is like by apathy from like viewers, or my own personal apathy, because in the face of like the social media algorithms or AI, it's it feels like quite an uphill struggle to get the attention from people, because there's such
Mm.
an onslaught for on everybody through social media and AI.
Yeah, well said. Well said. I agree. And my teacher Steve Houston mentions that a lot. Is that art is such a quiet art medium. It's very quiet, and the world is so noisy now. Now we have to work, a little bit harder to get our beauty and message out. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you. Mm,
and just to sorry to interrupt, but
mm.
it came to me also to say that I would love to preserve the tradition. And I think that's really important. So because of the AI and all that, image generators, I think it would be a shame for humanity to lose the traditions that they came through the lineage for hundreds of years, even actually thousands of years. And wouldn't want to see humanity drop those skills just because AI can do it. I don't think that would be very good for humanity.
Mm. You see, this is why this is why we resonate with each other. I agree 100%, and you're doing that, especially once we get to the work that you're doing now. It's really exciting how much of the craft that you are preserving. So thank you. I believe you are doing very necessary work.
Yeah. And
Thank you so. Mhm.
you, I could mention my mediums, just
Of course,
because
yes, please.
when I started with you, I wanted to really, for some reason, I got into digital, and I really love digital. It's super enjoyable. But now recently, I shifted back to oil painting and
Mm,
drawing with charcoal and graphite. I don't think I'm giving up digital entirely, but I think most of my development and my time is going to be spent in oil because I want to become a fine art painter, and I would ideally like to be in galleries that are suitable for the kind of work that I want to do,
mm. Well, I
or
would.
that I'm suitable for them.
Mm, mm. Well, I would argue you already are. You're just, you're just in the process of producing bodies of work. And here's some examples on the screen now of some of the work that I really enjoyed. Some of Natasha's recent work and some highlights, including some recent drawings, very strong, and a recent oil painting. And we'll look at some more of her current work at the end. This is fantastic, Natasha. Thank you for that story and your message, because it is important to have meaning. We you and I, we basically train just like in snowboarding, just like an athlete. Kind of your coach, and you come and train with me every day. But what I like about you is that, and this is the message that I try to get across now as I've matured as an artist and an educator, is that come even when you train and sketch and draw, come with some meaning, come with some emotion, come with a story, come with an idea. And I feel like you just, it pours out of you naturally. All your drawings have this like it's like, I feel like you're trying to say something more than just, oh, this is a flower, oh, this is a man's face, I can see it. And I believe people who see your work can also feel that your message. I know I do. So, and it's not easy, Natasha, so I commend you for that. So, Natasha, this is the part I'm excited about. What I'd like to do now is talk about where you were before you met me. And I I have some of your earlier works when we first started working together, and you sent me this earlier today. I know this is painful for many artists to to go through, so I appreciate you. If you don't mind, can you share a little bit about where you were before you met me? Things like what courses you tried, maybe formal education you had, or maybe books or other teachers you enjoyed. And I will flip through your drawings while you talk here. This is Natasha's early work, guys, before she met me.
So I thanks for the question.
Mm,
Uh, like really in high school, where when I drew a lot, let's say I used a lot of National Geographics, and I would love to just draw the animals from National Geographic magazines. So I think I was already training myself to observe and to, uh, draw by observation.
mm,
But it was super enjoyable. Then I was snowboarding, and then when I decided to get back into art and really like started to look for some training, one of the
mm,
websites that I came across at first, it's called Craftsy, and they're like a website that's probably based out of the States, and they teach all sorts of things like knitting, sewing, and they had drawing and painting options as well. So online classes, like do at your own pace kind of thing.
Mm,
And they actually had some pretty good teachers in there. And so that was a good start. I met a wildlife painter locally named Terry Isaac, and I took a few workshops with him, and he painted in acrylic. But that's also did a visionary art workshop with Amanda
mm,
Sage, and yeah, so those are some, more or less workshops and online learning.
mm,
But it was
mm,
not until I met you that then I just fully committed to one platform and one teacher.
mm,
And it's been a few years and I'm like still not done learning. So part of me feels like I'm still in the learning phase, which
mm,
I am because, I hear you say that we're going to be learning for the rest of our lives. I really like what I appreciated about you was you're so in tune with like contemporary, there's some like very modern energy in the kind of work that you do and teach. And I think it stems from the American traditional illustration lineage. So guys like that you taught me about, like Dean Cornwell, Lion Decker, uh, you know, all their work was so like energy and contemporary of their time, and like so expressive. And I never knew about any of that until you were starting to open my eyes to like the lineage of this tradition, American and European realism tradition, and teaching me about guys like Steve Houston, Nathan Fowkes. And I would have not really known about any of them because I didn't know that I didn't know. I didn't know even
mm,
where to look.
mm,
And so I found that super significant because that knowing about them and their philosophy and their approach really, that's when my mind popped. And I realized that art for me is going to be more than just copying pictures out of a
mm,
National Geographic, and that it's more about design and form and shapes and values and associating color with value. And to that's where like I'm given art tools with those things, and I can literally build the image like out of my own head rather than having to like be a slave to copying from reference photos. Or if I am using reference photos, I can really like design and style that photo uh, and interpret it with my own voice and my own style. And that's where it gets super exciting. And then it's like the possibilities are so limitless, and it's like so exciting. Like, and I'm just beginning to unlock that. Like I get it, but when I do my work, I have old habits. So I'm continuously like meditating and drawing on that to like really allow my own spirit and my own personality to speak through my drawings. And the way it's going to do that is through the form and the construction, the values, the shape. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, thank you so much. You, when you were talking, it sounded like music in my ears. I was like, "Oh, this, this is beautiful," because you kind of sounded like me when I was in LA training as a student, and other students around me. We all, what you just said, that's how we talked 24 hours a day. It's like, "Oh, let's get this
yeah,
shape and design stuff right." That is fantastic because to hear that you weren't really exposed to this stuff, for lack of a better word, we'll call it academic training, realist training. You weren't really exposed to this stuff until you met me, and that just like that confirms with me that because that was my mission, Natasha, originally as a teacher. I believed that the information that I have is the best in the world, and I can say that because none of it's mine. You know, it's all mostly inherited. So thank you for that, and we can see the results. Um, yeah, because what we have on screen now is her work before me, and then ca- we'll look at it again compared to where she is now, and this is tremendous. And I just want to say that it looks like you had, you know, obviously the talent is there, but it looks like you kind of had an understanding for what needs to be done. This is my impression from your work before me. It looks like you kind of know what good quality art should look like, but you probably didn't know how to get there. So
Right.
this is
Totally.
incredible to see, and thank you for that. That story in these images. And I love the fact that you have no shame. You know, us, my God, Natasha,
Yeah.
sorry.
I
So
actually
many
don't have
artists are
any
so
shame.
embarrassed. They're like, oh,
No
I don't
way.
even
No.
want to post a drawing now. You know how many
No.
times, Natasha, I get that? Oh, Chris, I can't show you my work. I'm not proud of it. I'm like, what the heck? You're not supposed to be proud of it. You're supposed to show me the ugly stuff so I can help you.
I
But
I would
you
have
have no
shame
shame.
if my work still looked like that, but it doesn't. So I'm super proud of like where how far I've come,
You should be.
you know?
My God. And part of it is your attitude. You're basically very willing to fail. And I think it's because you were a professional athlete. You understand,
Totally.
you understand you gotta fail a bunch and fall on your butt. I
Yeah.
snowboarded. Anybody
Yeah.
watching, comment below. Any snowboarders, comment below.
And the
I
mindset from snowboarding and competing,
mm,
I think that really translates well to having a good attitude and a good mindset towards building drawing skills.
hmm You know, in fact, when I first started, um, when I when I first wanted to be a professional artist, you know, my family was against it. My family was against it, obviously, because they know it's not easy. And I told them, like, look, yes, it's difficult, but I'm going to approach it like an athlete, and I'm just going to train until you know I'm good enough to be pro or whatever. So even back then, as a young art student, I understood that. I understood the relation or the similarities between athletic training and drawing because it's basically your hand too. Learning to draw or paint to me is no difference than like a punch, a martial arts punch, for example. You got to do it thousands of times. So yeah, now that I know that you're a professional athlete, it makes perfect sense how why you have this approach and the output, your output is also impressive.
Yeah, and my mindset is to like I'm still, training physically, running, staying healthy because I do it for the art. Like I need to be physically as
Mm,
strong and healthy so I can show up and stand at an easel for 7 hours or
mm,
that I can paint and draw for the next 40 years.
mm. Yeah, well said. I agree, and I feel the same way. I feel like you know, I want to do this as long as I can and be healthy. And right now on screen, Natasha, I have some earlier works around when we first started working together.
Yeah.
You mentioned you were you first gravitated to me for portrait drawing and digital painting, and these
Yes.
are some of your early portraits. And to me, they're quite impressive, even at an early stage and an early figure. Do you have any comments on these images? Like some
Uh,
of the things you were maybe some challenges you were going through in the beginning or during your training with me, or some wins you may have had, some successes.
uh, well, really the only challenge is that I'm not more in the culture of artists. Like, and that's nothing to do with you. It's more just that where I live, that I wish
Mm,
I was just like, really, I would love to go to California and study at
mm,
one of those ateliers. So that's a challenge because
Mm-mm.
I feel like I could grow even more if I was surrounded by people that were better than me and I could like actually watch them draw. Yeah. So,
Interesting.
um, what was your other question? Was there anything?
Oh, yeah. Were there
Oh, with
any bright moments, any successes during your training with
uh,
me in the early
okay.
days
Well,
or first few years?
the easy answer is every drawing was a win,
Oh,
no matter what, because I did my best. But like more tangibly, a nice thing that happened was that last year, one of my digital art pieces that you helped me to work out with coaching, it made it into the Toronto Visionary Art uh,
mm,
Artist Gallery. Yeah, so that was really cool, and I was very proud of that piece.
I remember that piece. Well, let's quickly pull that up. That was a huge win. Where is that? I believe it's this shaman. That's how I
Yes,
would describe it. Shamanistic.
yeah, that one's
This
called
image
Art
is fantastic.
Medicine.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's the
thank you.
title?
It's called Art Medicine.
Mm, art is medicine.
Hmm.
This
Yeah,
is fantastic. Every time I look at it, I see something new, Natasha.
yeah,
The
yeah.
depth, to me, the obviously the draftsmanship, just the raw drawing skill is absolutely incredible and dazzling. A layperson could look at this, a non-artist viewer, and go, "Wow, look at that beautiful faces." When I look at it, I just see the incredible skill in the design. That is not easy picture to craft, and it looks. I don't want to blow up your ego, but it looks effortless, Natasha. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like this just kind of flowed out of you. It looks like you at the time you had everything you needed to execute this picture, and it looked like it flowed. It looked like you had fun.
Yeah.
Am,
Well,
am I off? Am I close?
uh, yeah, you're on, but honestly, that's probably 70 or 80 hours to do
Woo!
that, right? So that's commitment. And that's digital, so that
mm,
shortened things. Um,
mm.
yeah,
Congratulations, well done.
thanks.
Let's yeah, and thank you for that story. And yeah, what you said there confirms to me um, when we first started working together, your first year or so. I was like, geez, Natasha kid, she knows exactly what she wants. She just pops in, asks for some help, and then 2 days later, boom, something else comes up. It's like it was incredible, very incredible. It's your as you're an art you're a teacher's dream.
Thanks.
Your teacher's like a driven
Yeah,
student that knows exactly what they want. Come on,
I
any
never complain.
educators out there know what I'm talking about. And here's some more images around maybe your second year during your training with me, and
Yes.
your digital paintings really matured. I believe we started focusing more on color this time, and I was doing a lot of poster work, so I was
Yeah,
encouraging you guys to do poster work, and you were just killing it with
yeah.
these
I
posters.
remember you kind of went into it with me with finishing, and that was super helpful too.
Mm,
That's like another huge like pop moment when
mm,
I'm working on a piece and then show it to you and I think it's done, and then you have all these ideas that of finishing of like extra details like the last 10%.
mm,
And I just need to be shown that stuff, like kind of like taken through the finishing process, because I just learned by example and by observing what you do.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, and that's exactly what I did and continue to do. Look at this. When you finished this Dune, I was blown away because the drawing is very good, but again, this it's the design. Design is so impressive because Natasha, I have been screaming at art students for 10 years now. I'm like, please take the time to design your picture before you spend 200 hours on it. And I feel like you either you're very, very talented or you put a lot of thought into the design or both. Because
Right.
your design is so, it's so simple and crisp and clear, exactly how I would design a picture. Oh,
I like to hear
fantastic.
you say that because it's
Mm.
giving me hope that I'm gonna
Oh yeah.
make it as a professional artist in some capacity. Like I
Oh,
love
you've
to
already
share
made it.
your
You've
encouragement.
already made it. I think anybody watching goes, "Gosh, this girl's already professional. What's she talking about?" I wait till you get to the end, guys. Wait till you see what she's been working on lately. So, and the progress is undeniable. My God, to go from your early high school drawings that we saw to maybe your first year with me, and these are maybe your around your second year with me. The jump is so clear, and then that is incredible. So let's speaking of jump, let's get to that now, Natasha. Let's show everyone. This is what I put together for where you are now. So we talked about what it was like, some of your challenges and wins. You basically were were a s you treated your training like a professional athlete that you are does. You show up, you do some training, you get some feedback from your coach, and then you come back the next day. So amazing. Congratulations for making me look good. Now, Natasha, let's transition to where you are now because I think this is the most exciting. I've watched your evolution, and every day, Natasha, and I'm not just saying this, every day I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. Oh, look at this thing she posted. I get a little, it's like a hit of adrenaline, Natasha. So, anyway, enough of that. I'm going to quickly scroll through these paintings before we let Natasha share her thoughts on what we see on screen here. This is some of her latest work. Let's start, Natasha, with your traditional oil paintings. And this is a gorgeous, and it's a big flower paintings lately. Talk to us about your oil painting, where you are now with oil painting, and what's up with these flowers. They are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. The the thing is that I took a year off, like a year and a half, because I had to renovate my house and the studio. And I wasn't doing
Hmm.
any art because I was putting so much time into like building and whatever I needed to do. So
Mm.
when I got back into art, once the studio was ready to go, I started painting flowers because I thought they would be the easiest and most gentle re-entry back into oil painting.
Mm.
I needed flowers because they're so forgiving
Mm.
and yet they're so cheerful because of all the color.
Mm.
So that's essentially why I did flowers, and I took a few classes with a local oil painter named
Mm.
Diane Williams, and she paints flowers and horses.
Mm.
And so she kind of just gently eased me back into oil painting because before then I had been doing mostly digital.
Mm.
Uh, and then just my thoughts on flowers and the whole thing is that, well, you were scrolling at one of the pictures where my Logan Maxwell copy,
Oh yeah.
and you actually taught me about Logan Maxwell and that whole group
Mm.
of artists. So I started to really like his work, and so I did a master copy because he always recommends students to do master copies. So that's a master copy in oil,
Mm.
basically half size of his original.
Mm.
Mine's 20 by 20. But I'm looking at his flowers and I love how stylized he does them.
Mm.
So, the rose painting, it's like super nice, but I'm still like, actually, I'm not that happy with it because
Mm.
I want to get my oil painting to be more stylized, have more of my own,
Mm.
uh, you know, mm, flavor.
Mm.
So I do the Maxwell copy, hoping that just by osmosis, that's gonna like somehow ingrain itself into my abilities.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, let's segue. This to me is exciting. What you've been doing in terms of, I don't want to say Western art, but it's clearly you're really gravitating towards Eric Bowman and
Yes,
Logan Maxwell Hedges, basically that crew from Maxwell Alexander Gallery. So shout out Logan if you're watching. You have a new super talented super fan, and this is an impressive copy. Natasha was talking about painting earlier this year, and then I mentioned, hey, you might like Logan, you might like these guys, and she just took off running. She did this incredible copy, and she mentioned how much it's influenced her. And I just want to say, and I think everybody watching can just see how impressive your attention is. That's one of the things to me that um, is the most difficult, Natasha, is really the attention to the not so much the detail, but to the craft and the craftsmanship and the care. It looks
the
like you put so
quality.
much care into it. Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
because it's like I think to me it's like adoration,
mm,
and
mm,
I'm like literally connecting to God every time I
mm,
paint or draw, and
mm,
and I'm like adoring God's creations, whether it's flowers or even a Maxwell painting. It's all
mm,
God's creation, and whenever I get a chance to observe it and adore it enough to draw it, I can't help but to like give the thing so much reverence. So I
mm,
think it really shows in the artwork, in the quality of it.
mm. Well said. Yeah. And Natasha, while we have this on screen, can you, if anybody's watching this that might be like hesitant about doing master copies or copying artists' work to as a form of study, can you say some words about why you feel an artist watching this should practice more master copies?
I'll go through just say a few things that I learned while doing this
Mm-mm.
copy. For one thing, I really got to like take a good stock of what colors he's using. And then when I was mixing the colors, I realized actually the mixes aren't that difficult. They're actually pretty basic.
Mm-mm.
Um, so it wasn't as like complicated color wise as I had initially thought. And then his brushwork technique, I'm really observing it and trying to use that same brushwork application, same types of brushes, same types of paint. So it's kind of a way of getting out of my own skin and going more into Maxwell's mode of thinking. So when I get to practice that, I feel I really take on his style and his mannerism.
Mm.
Also,
Wow.
observing
Mm.
composition.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at this up close, you did match his brushwork. At least you tried. You were aware of it. And
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
so impressive. So impressive. My goodness. That is care. Whew, that's very inspiring to me. Gosh, because I also do oil master copies, and this reminding me, like, oh my God, I need to be, I need to listen to my own advice and put some more care into it. Jeez, fantastic, man! Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
this is also exciting, Natasha. I have on screen. You made a post recently about your interaction with your new hero, Eric Bowman. Can you and Logan Maxwell? Can you talk to us a little bit about this experience?
Yeah, well, we're all like you and me and the guys, the kids over at your school. We're all
Mm-mm.
like kind of egging each other on to expand our
Mm.
possibilities. And one of the things you said is I should contact these artists, and I did. And
Mm.
I told them I'm going to do their painting and asked if it was okay and asked for any advice and specifically what colors they're using. So Bowman responded the same day with his list of like the colors on his color palette. And I was really happy. And he told me about the brushes he uses. And it's just really nice. They're very busy. But if you send them a polite request with maybe just a few sentences, nothing too long and elaborate, that they'll have time to read it and respond.
I don't know whether it just listening to you just warms my heart, Natasha.
I'm
I've been
glad.
teaching for almost 2 years, 20 years. And I say this, I've been screaming this for 20 years. I'm like, guys, go reach out, be professional and polite. And then if
Plus,
they say no, keep try the next one, keep reaching
yeah,
out.
just keep going. Plus, like I listen to Bowman interviews, and he's constantly
Mm,
saying how when he was studying, he would go to guys and go to their studios and ask them stuff.
mm,
So I was like, okay, if he's done that and got good response from his mentors, then I'm sure he's very likely to do the same for anyone that's outreaching to him.
mm. Oh, I'm so happy. And
Yeah,
I also listened to a brief interview with him, and I've never met him, but he seems like a kind, genuine man, like a generous,
totally.
helpful person. That was my impression.
Yeah, and humble.
Mm, mm. Yeah, and Logan as well. I do know Logan Maxwell personally. I met him a few years ago in LA, and in my impression of Logan, he was extremely kind, generous, and humble. I was so impressed by
Awesome.
him, and his work
Yeah.
is incredible, in my opinion. And
Oh, yeah.
speaking of Logan, Natasha, you also messaged Logan, which Eric Bowman is. I love his work also, but I'm a huge Logan Maxwell fan. Talk to us about what Logan said in your message and how you felt during that interaction.
Oh, I once I finished the copy, I sent him the image that of my painting of his painting, just to tell him, hey, I'm a fan and I really had a good time doing this painting and I learned a lot and I just wanted you to check it out. Don't worry, I'm not going to be selling it or anything. And he said, awesome. And he was really happy to see it. And that, well, may, maybe my colors were a bit off. And then he just suggested temperature wise what I could have done to
Mm,
have gotten it more close
mm,
to his colors. So yeah, that was good.
mm, mm. Ah, so inspiring. So inspiring. I need to
Uh,
do the same myself.
Also, I want to say, like, I'm happy that you're feeling happy and proud from one of your students' results because you work so hard and you've been working at teaching for so long, and it's really nice for you, I think, to get like tangible results from all the effort that you're putting into your students.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. And like I said, your work ethic and your focus definitely makes me look good. And um, seeing you and the others who get consistent results just keeps me going, because there are
Yeah,
many days I question if I if I should, you're like, what am I doing this for? But
I
it's moments
I
like
would
these keep me going.
I hope so. I hope you keep going. I hope you
Mm,
find it in you to keep going because you have so much good wisdom and like skills to teach. Also, I think it would be fun if we did a show.
it's
I
coming.
Because some of
It's
the
coming.
guys in your group are so good, and I'm like feel like kinship with them because we've been going through
Mm,
it for at least a year, if not longer, and
mm,
it would just be nice to have a show together if that is feasible at some point.
I agree. Yeah, and we had talked about this, um, you and I, in the group privately. Yeah, and that is in the works, and I do have spaces now. I'm based in Bangkok now. I'm an American, but I'm an expat in Thailand, and so yeah, I have a few spaces available, and that is coming. That is coming because I want to see it myself. So and now I have the resources. It's coming.
That'd be cool.
And thank you so much for the kind words. I I appreciate it. For me, as I never really considered myself an art teacher, Natasha, and I still don't. I'm just a guy. I consider myself, I'm just an artist. I just like to talk about it. And then if people
Uh,
want to talk art with me, then, it's cool. And also, like I said, I believe the information that I was trained with is the best in the world, and I can say that because none of it is mine. So I just like, hey, this stuff is really valuable, guys. Go go try it. Go try it. So and you ran with it. So thank you,
yeah, thanks.
including the professional advice or thoughts that I have. You know, I essentially built my training and career by reaching out to professionals. Obviously, those who know my story know I did that with Steve Houston. I did that with Mark Westermo. Um, and I wouldn't be here without them. So the fact that you had the courage and the intelligence and the professionalism to reach out to other professional artists that you admire, and you're able now to open the door and start a relationship, that is very commendable. Let's close with this, because this to me is exciting, Natasha. I feel like you're making a landscape push now, and I know it's getting warmer in Canada now, so I believe you are ready to go outdoors, and that just makes me so exciting. And woo, we have an exciting spring coming up, Natasha. Tell us about this
Uh,
landscape journey. Am I off? Am I off about the?
no, like I'm
Okay.
so super excited. I love
Mm-mm.
portraits, but
Mm-mm.
I'm looking at Bowman and I'm like pretty much
Mm.
want to do what he's doing, and he's
Mm.
doing figure portraits and plein air landscapes. And I'm like, I don't know what it is that I'm gonna actually be selling, but it's gonna involve landscapes, portraits, and figure.
Mm.
And I'm not going into the Western genre, just so you know, by the way. Uh,
Mhm, mhm,
like when I first came to you, I'm more from like this visionary art
mhm,
community, like this kind of like psychedelic spiritual art. And I'm not quite sure where it's gonna fall for me, because essentially I need galleries to pick up my paintings. So I have to like really figure out how am I gonna like position myself or create the kind of art that will get picked up by galleries.
mm,
So that's like another struggle kind of right now. Like,
mm,
but anyways, I'm in learning mode, and right now the next step is to start plein air painting because I keep hearing you have to paint from life and you have to
mm.
paint in nature because nature is the master teacher.
Makes me so happy to hear. And Logan and Eric Bowman would give you the exact same advice. They're both LA guys, and this is what LA guys do, Natasha. Last night I was thinking about this interview, um, and I was thinking, you are basically following the same LA atelier path that I went down, which is what I share with you and other people who like my message. And LA Atelier guys, we basically do two things. We life draw like crazy, and we go outside like crazy. Basically, if I could simplify what I feel is special about Los Angeles academic realist training compared to other parts of America, is we love to go outside because California has nice weather. And you living in Vancouver, although we know Vancouver, Pacific Northwest, can get cold, can get rainy. It's undeniable. Vancouver has incredible natural beauty and landscapes. So, of course, I am also going to push you to go outside. So the fact that you're already doing it is awesome. you you,
Yeah.
you are going to have a great time, and I wish I could join you, to be honest. When I hear you talk about landscape, I'm like, shoot, that's what I did when I was a student. I went outside too. I want to go outside. I haven't done plein air in a long time, so we
Yeah.
we we can't wait to see this. And I have some of your composition studies you did, and they are so sharp, so impressive. um Incredible. I'm very excited to see what you come up with when when you do start pursuing plein air.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll just say when I go out around where I live, I'm going to have to contend with bears,
Oh,
snakes, and cactuses and ticks.
oh yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I have been to Vancouver, but I didn't go to the
Yeah,
east.
yeah,
Wait,
the
you
more
are you in
interior,
Vancouver or you are in British Columbia?
British Columbia, southern interior, so it's 5 hours
Oh,
from Vancouver.
oh, so it's a okay. Sorry, it's a different city.
Yeah, no
It's
worries.
my
I grew up
American
in Vancouver.
ignorance. Where do you get your art supplies, by the way, since you're way out there?
I order a lot online.
Oh, you don't go to a local art store, or do you have one?
I go to Opus, which is, you mentioned that you
Oh, you go to
visited it.
Opus.
Yeah, when you went to Vancouver.
How far a drive is that for you?
5 hours.
Hey, oh, that's way too far. Okay.
It's far.
All
So
right.
I
Thank you,
order online.
Natasha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
yeah, I would.
And thank you for this interview. It was super fun and really nice to
Mm,
pack it all into like 45 minutes. And just,
mm,
I feel like we're celebrating the work and the progress. Thank you.
absolutely. Oh, Natasha, before you go,
Yes.
can I ask you one final question, which is, if there's someone watching right now who may be on the fence, maybe like, oh, I don't know if I should invest in training. I don't know if I should pursue mentorship. I don't know if I should, go to a workshop with an expert. And there's anyone out there that's like on the fence or hesitant about, investing in their training or pursuing mentorships or studying with an expert, wh- um, what would you say to them?
I would say definitely go for it because if that's your dream and your passion, that you'll learn so much more than just the craft of art. You'll also learn about yourself and add so much more richness and depth to your life and your life experience. And I would also say tie a few knots in your life, like put a few things aside, maybe some bad habits or obligations that take
Mm,
up your time. And once you've like packed a few things away, then and you're freed up, you can really commit. And it's a big path, but it's super worth it.
thank you for that. And where can people follow you, find your art? Where are you? Are you on social media? Are you on? You have a blog? Where should people
I
go to keep up with your work?
At this time, Instagram would
Okay.
be the place where I post the most regularly. So my handle is Natka01,
And
Natka01.
yeah, and we'll make sure to put a big link in here and put it on screen. Wow,
Nice.
Natasha, thank you so much for your time. Thank you
You're welcome.
for all the hard work, and I look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you
Yes.
soon. We got to get back to work.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's what athletes
Have a
do.
good time.
Bye bye.
Go
Thank
paint.
you. Let's
Bye.
go. Bye bye.
Bye bye.